If tonight's story creeped you out, check out this book of real ghost legends. It's in the description.
Hi there, traveler. Shadows fall, secrets stir. And you, dear traveler, have found the Dark Hour Diaries. The scare cues serve you, and the visitors, well, they stay forever.
It was a chilly October night when the full moon hung heavy over the sleepy town of Hollow Creek. The townsfolk always whispered about the strange things that happened when the moon was at its brightest, vanishing livestock, eerie howls in the distance, and shadows that moved on their own. But 16-year-old Jake Reynolds didn't believe in any of that. That night, Jake and his best friend, Liam, decided to camp out near the old Miller farm, right at the edge of Blackwood Forest. The locals avoided the woods, especially on full moons, but Jake laughed it off. "Just superstition," he said. As the moon rose higher, the wind picked up, rustling the trees in an unnatural way. Then came the sound, a low, guttural growl from deep within the forest. Liam's face went pale. "We should go," he whispered, but Jake, stubborn as ever, grabbed his flashlight and marched toward the trees. The deeper he went, the colder the air became. The shadows seemed to twist and stretch, forming shapes that didn't belong, tall, hunched figures with glowing yellow eyes. Jake's heart pounded as one of them stepped into the moonlight. It was a Wendigo, a creature from Algonquin legend, a monstrous being born from starvation and cannibalism, cursed to forever hunger for human flesh. Jake turned to run, but the Wendigo was faster. Just as it lunged, Liam, who had followed him, threw a flare from their camping gear. The creature shrieked and recoiled from the light. The boys sprinted back to town, never looking back. The next morning, the sheriff found deep claw marks on the trees at the forest's edge. The elders nodded grimly. "The full moon wakes the hungry ones," one muttered. Lesson learned, respect the unknown, ****. Just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it isn't real. Folklore and legends often carry warnings. Ignoring them can lead to danger. Sometimes, the oldest stories exist for a reason. For weeks after their encounter, Jake couldn't sleep. The Wendigo's hollow, sunken face haunted his dreams. Liam refused to even speak about that night, crossing the street whenever he saw Old Man Miller, whose family had once owned the cursed land, but Jake needed answers that he visited the town's oldest resident, Martha Caldwell, a woman who knew every dark secret Hollow Creek had ever buried. Her cabin smelled of dried herbs and candle wax, and her milky eyes seemed to look right through him. "You saw the Wendigo, ***, she said before he could even speak. "And you were lucky to escape," Jake swallowed hard. "Why does it come out on the full moon?" Martha leaned forward, her voice a whisper. "The full moon is a thin time, when the veil between our world and the hungry ones weakens. The Wendigo was once a man, just like you. But greed and desperation turned him into a monster. Now, it hunts, forever starving, never satisfied." Jake's hands trembled. "Is there a way to stop it?" Martha's gaze darkened. Some say if you find its bones, what's left of the man it used to be, and burn them with sacred herbs, the curse will break. But no one's ever been fool enough to try." That night, Jake stood at the edge of Blackwood Forest again, the full moon casting long, twisted shadows. In his backpack a jar of Martha's herbs, a silver locket she said would repel evil, and a reckless determination. Liam grabbed his arm. Asterisk, you're insane. That thing will tear you apart. Jake clenched his fists. I have to know. The forest was silent, too silent. No crickets, no wind. Just the crunch of leaves under his boots. Then, a whisper, his name, carried on the cold air. Jayahake. The Wendigo emerged from the trees, its skeletal frame moving unnaturally fast. Jake fumbled for the locket, but the creature didn't attack. It stared at him with hollow eyes, its jagged mouth twisting into something almost like sorrow. Hungry, asterisk, it rasped, not in a growl, but in a broken, human voice. Jake's breath caught. For a second, he saw not a monster, but a man, starving, lost, begging for release. He pulled out the herbs and struck a match. The Wendigo screamed as the flames took hold, its form writhing, shrinking, until all that remained was a pile of ash and a single, rusted wedding ring. The next morning, the townsfolk swore the air felt lighter. The nightmares stopped. And deep in Blackwood Forest, the shadows no longer moved on their own. Final lesson, some monsters are made, not born. Asterisk, the Wendigo was once a man destroyed by his own hunger, for food, for power, for something he could never have. Evil grows when we feed it. But sometimes, even the darkest curses can be broken, if someone is brave enough to try. The question is, what other horrors still wait under the full moon? Asterisk.